Welcome to It's English Podcast, where English feels easy, calm, and natural.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Conversations with Brian and Mary. I'm Brian.
And I'm Mary. Thanks for joining us today. How's everyone doing out there?
Yeah, we hope you're comfortable wherever you are. Maybe you're commuting to work, doing some housework, or just relaxing with a cup of coffee.
Before we dive in, Brian, how was your Monday? I know you mentioned you had a tough start to the week.
Oh man, Mary, it was one of those mornings. You know when your alarm goes off and you just stare at the ceiling thinking, do I really have to do this today?
Oh, I know that feeling too well. What made it rough?
Just the usual Sunday night blues carrying over into Monday. I spent my whole Sunday evening thinking about all the tasks waiting for me at work. My body was watching TV, but my mind was already drowning in emails.
Drowning in emails? That's such a perfect way to describe it. It's like being overwhelmed or buried under too much work, right?
Exactly. And the weird thing is, when I actually got to work, it wasn't as bad as I imagined. My brain had built up this huge monster, but in reality, it was just a regular Monday.
That happens to me all the time. We create these scary stories in our heads that are way worse than reality.
So true. And that's actually what we want to talk about today, how our minds work and how we can train them to be a bit kinder to us.
Yes, today's episode is all about building mental strength and finding small ways to feel more positive, even when life gets challenging.
And don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those just think positive and everything will be perfect kind of talks.
Right, we're going to be realistic. Life has hard moments, but there are some simple techniques that can help you handle those moments better.
This episode is perfect for intermediate learners, B1 level. The language is natural and conversational, but not too complicated.
And if you're still at A2 level, you can absolutely listen too. Just take your time, and you can always replay sections that feel tricky.
Before we continue, we'd love to ask you for a small favor.
If you enjoy our podcast, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and maybe share this episode with someone who's also learning English.
Every subscription really helps us reach more English learners around the world.
And we absolutely love reading your comments. So here's a question for you. Where are you listening from right now, and what are you doing?
Yeah, write it in the comments. Something like, I'm in Mexico cooking dinner, or I'm in Vietnam on the train to work.
We love seeing how global our community is. It feels like we're all learning together.
All right, so let's talk about today's topic. We're going to explore 4 main ideas about building a more positive mindset.
First, we'll talk about taking ownership of your feelings, understanding that you have more control than you think.
Then we'll discuss how to deal with overthinking and anxiety.
After that, we'll explore how to set goals that actually help you instead of stress you out.
And finally, we'll talk about resilience, how to keep going when things get really tough.
Plus, at the end, we'll have our word bank section, where we'll review all the useful phrases and idioms we use today.
So you can actually start using them in your own conversations.
All right, Brian, let's start with the first idea, taking ownership of your emotional state.
Yes, so here's a question for everyone listening. Do you believe you can choose how you feel?
That's a big question. I think most people would say no, feelings just happen to me.
Exactly. And to some extent, that's true. You can't always control your first emotional reaction to something.
Right. If someone insults you, you'll probably feel hurt or angry immediately. That's automatic.
But here's the thing. You can control what you do with that feeling afterwards. You can let it consume you, or you can process it and let it go.
Let it consume you means to let it take over your whole day or even your whole week, right?
Yes, exactly. Like when someone makes one negative comment and you replay it in your head for 3 days straight.
Oh, I'm guilty of that too. Someone will say something slightly critical and I'll turn it into a whole story about how I'm not good enough.
We all do it, but I learned something interesting from a therapist friend of mine.
What's that?
She told me that thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. You can watch them, acknowledge them, but you don't have to grab on to every single one and hold it tight.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you're saying we can observe our negative thoughts without letting them take control?
Exactly. For example, last week I made a mistake at work. I sent an email to the wrong person with some sensitive information.
Oh no, that must have been stressful.
It was. My first thought was, I'm so stupid. I'm going to get fired. Everyone will think I'm incompetent.
That's pretty intense reaction.
Right? But then I remembered this cloud metaphor. I watched that thought pass through. I acknowledged it. Okay, brain, I hear you. You're scared.
And then what did you do?
I took a breath and asked myself, what's the actual situation here? The actual situation was, I made a mistake, I need to fix it, I need to apologize and be more careful next time.
So you shifted from catastrophic thinking to practical thinking.
Yes, catastrophic thinking is when you imagine the worst possible outcome, right?
Exactly. Like when you get a headache and immediately think, I probably have a brain tumor, instead of, I probably need to drink more water.
Yes. So the first big idea here is you might not control every thought that pops into your head, but you can definitely control which thoughts you feed and which ones you let drift away.
I love that. Feed the helpful thoughts, let the unhelpful ones float by.
Exactly. Now, Mary, you mentioned you struggle with this too. What helps you?
For me, journaling has been a game changer.
A game changer means something that completely transforms your experience, right?
Yes, it made a huge difference. Every morning, I write 3 things I'm grateful for.
Just 3 things?
Just 3. They don't have to be big. Sometimes it's, I'm grateful for my warm bed, or I'm grateful that my coffee tasted good today.
I like that it's simple.
That's the key. If you make it complicated, you won't do it. But 3 small things, anyone can do that.
And what does that practice do for you?
It trains my brain to look for good things instead of only noticing problems. It's like, you know when you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars everywhere?
Oh yeah, that's a real psychological phenomenon.
Exactly. Your brain starts filtering for what you pay attention to. So if you practice noticing good things, you'll start seeing more good things throughout your day.
That's powerful. So the first idea is about taking ownership, recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control your response.
Yes, and that response includes what thoughts you focus on and what small actions you take to shift your energy.
All right, let's move to our second big idea, dealing with worry and overthinking.
Oh boy, this is a big one for me.
Yeah, I think this affects almost everyone, especially in our modern world with constant information and social media.
So, Brian, do you consider yourself a worrier?
I used to be terrible. I would lie awake at night with my mind racing about everything.
Racing means going really fast, like your thoughts are running wild and you can't catch them.
Exactly. My thoughts would jump from one worry to another. Did I lock the front door? What if I get sick? What if my parents get sick? What if I lose my job? What if...
It never ends.
Never. And the exhausting thing is, most of what we worry about never actually happens.
I read somewhere that 85% of the things we worry about don't happen.
Wow, that's a huge percentage. So we're wasting enormous amounts of mental energy on imaginary problems.
Exactly. So what changed for you?
I learned a technique called the 3-minute rule.
What's that?
When a worry pops up, I give myself 3 minutes to think about it. I set a timer on my phone.
Seriously?
Yes. And in those 3 minutes, I ask myself 3 questions.
What are the questions?
First question, is this something I can control right now? Second question, is this something I need to act on today? Third question, what's one small thing I can do about this?
That's really practical.
And if the answer to the first 2 questions is no, then I consciously decide to set the worry aside.
How do you set it aside?
I literally visualize putting it in a box and closing the lid. I know it sounds silly, but it works.
It doesn't sound silly at all. Our brains respond well to visual imagery.
Exactly. And if there is something I can do, I write it down on my to-do list, and then I let it go until I can actually address it.
So you're giving your brain permission to stop spinning because you've made a plan.
Yes, your brain worries when it thinks you might forget something important, but when you write it down, your brain relaxes because it knows you've captured it.
I do something similar, but I call it my worry appointment.
What's that?
If something is really bothering me and I can't stop thinking about it, I schedule a specific time to worry about it.
You schedule worry time?
Yes, I tell myself, okay, brain, I hear you. We'll think about this tomorrow at 5 p.m. for 20 minutes.
Does that actually work?
It does, because when the worry pops up at other times, I can say, not now, we have an appointment for this later.
That's brilliant. You're treating your worry like a meeting.
Exactly. And usually by the time my worry appointment arrives, the issue seems much smaller, or I've already figured it out.
So the second big idea here is you don't have to eliminate worry completely, that's impossible, but you can manage it, contain it, and stop it from taking over your whole life.
Yes, put boundaries around your worry. Don't let it run wild 24/7.
Now, there's another side to overthinking that I want to mention.
What's that?
Well, sometimes we overthink because we're avoiding action.
Ooh, that's deep. Explain more.
Well, think about it. Sometimes it feels safer to stay in the thinking phase than to actually do something.
Because once you do something, you might fail.
Exactly. But as long as you're thinking about it or planning, you can't fail yet.
So overthinking becomes a form of protection.
Yes, but it's false protection because you're not actually moving forward.
I felt this way about starting my online business. I spent months researching, planning, overthinking every detail.
What finally got you to start?
A friend told me, Mary, you can't edit a blank page. You have to write something first, even if it's messy.
That's such good advice.
It really is, and it applies to so many things in life. You have to take imperfect action and then adjust as you go.
Yes, imperfect action beats perfect planning every time.
So if anyone listening is stuck in overthinking mode, here's our advice. Set a deadline for your thinking. Give yourself 3 days or 1 week to research and plan, and then commit to taking one small action.
Even if you're scared, even if you're not ready, just take one tiny step.
Because motion creates clarity. You learn more from doing than from thinking.
All right, let's move to our third idea, setting goals that energize you instead of drain you.
This is so important because a lot of people have a complicated relationship with goals.
What do you mean?
Well, on one hand, goals can be really motivating. They give you direction and purpose.
Right, they help you focus your energy.
But on the other hand, goals can become sources of shame and frustration if you set the wrong ones or if you're too harsh on yourself.
Yes, I've definitely experienced that. I've set goals and then beat myself up when I didn't achieve them perfectly.
Beat yourself up means to criticize yourself harshly, right?
Exactly. You're being mean to yourself in your own head.
So let's talk about how to set goals in a healthier way.
First principle, your goals should pull you forward, not push you down.
What's the difference?
A goal that pulls you forward is something you genuinely want to move towards. It excites you.
Like, I want to learn guitar because I love music and it would bring me joy.
Exactly. But a goal that pushes you down is based on shame or comparison.
Like, I should lose weight because everyone else looks better than me.
Yes, that goal comes from a negative place, and negative motivation rarely lasts.
So true. I mean, it might work for a few days, but then you burn out.
Burnout means you lose all your energy and motivation, right?
Yes, like a candle that burns too fast and goes out.
So the first step is to check your motivation. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want it or because I think I should?
And if it's a should, either let it go or reframe it.
Reframe it. That means change the way you think about it.
Exactly. For example, instead of I should exercise because I'm lazy, reframe it as I want to move my body because it makes me feel strong and energized.
Same action, completely different energy.
Yes, and here's another important principle. Break big goals into ridiculously small steps.
I love this one. How small?
So small that it feels almost silly. So small that you can't fail.
Give me an example.
Okay, let's say your goal is to write a book. That's huge and overwhelming, right?
Definitely. Where do you even start?
So you break it down. First, your goal isn't write a book. Your goal is write for 10 minutes today.
Just 10 minutes?
Just 10 minutes. Anyone can do 10 minutes.
But will 10 minutes really get you to finish a book?
Here's the secret. Yes, because the hardest part is starting. Once you sit down and write for 10 minutes, you often keep going.
And even if you don't, 10 minutes a day adds up over time.
Exactly. In 1 month, that's 300 minutes. In 6 months, that's 30 hours of writing.
Wow, when you put it that way, it sounds significant.
It is. Small, consistent actions create massive results over time.
So the key is consistency, not intensity.
Yes, it's better to work on your goal for 10 minutes every single day than to work on it for 5 hours once and then burn out.
I learned this lesson the hard way with language learning.
How so?
A few years ago, I wanted to learn Spanish, so I bought all these books and apps, and I told myself I'd study for 2 hours every Saturday.
And did you?
For 3 weeks, yes. Then I missed one Saturday, and I felt so guilty that I just stopped completely.
That's so common.
But last year, I tried again with a different approach. I committed to just 5 minutes of Spanish every day.
5 minutes?
5 minutes. Even on busy days, I could find 5 minutes. And you know what? I've been doing it for 9 months now. My Spanish is actually getting decent.
Because you showed up consistently.
Exactly. Showing up is more important than the amount of time you spend.
So our advice for goals: start small, be consistent, and celebrate tiny wins.
Celebrate tiny wins. Yes, this is crucial.
What do you mean?
Most people only celebrate when they reach the finish line, but that means you're waiting months or years to feel good about yourself.
And in the meantime, you feel like you're failing because you're not there yet.
Right. So instead, celebrate the small steps. You studied for 10 minutes today? Celebrate that. You went for a 15-minute walk? That counts.
I actually keep a wins journal where I write down 3 things I accomplished each day.
Even small things?
Especially small things. I drank 8 glasses of water today. I called my mom. I finished one work task without procrastinating.
Procrastinating means delaying or avoiding tasks, right?
Yes, putting things off for later.
And how does this wins journal make you feel?
It helps me see that I'm actually making progress, even when it doesn't feel dramatic. It fights that voice in my head that says, you didn't do enough today.
I need to start doing that.
You should. It's really encouraging to look back at a week and see all the small wins accumulated.
All right, so our third big idea is goals should inspire you, not shame you. Make them small, make them consistent, and celebrate every step forward.
Yes, and remember, it's okay to adjust your goals as you go.
Absolutely. Life changes, you change. Your goals can change too.
Now let's talk about our fourth and final idea, building resilience when life gets really hard.
This is important because no matter how positive we try to be, life will throw challenges at us.
Exactly. Bad things happen. Loss, failure, disappointment, heartbreak. These are all part of being human.
So the question isn't how do I avoid hard times? The question is how do I move through hard times?
Yes, move through, not around. You can't skip the hard parts.
Mary, have you gone through a really difficult period in your life?
Yes. About 2 years ago, I lost my grandmother. We were very close.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was really hard. For weeks, I felt like I was walking through fog.
Walking through fog. What a powerful image. You mean everything felt unclear and heavy?
Yes, I went to work, I did my daily tasks, but I wasn't really present. I was just going through the motions.
going through the motions means doing things automatically without really feeling engaged.
Exactly, like a robot.
How did you start to feel better?
Honestly, time helped, but also I learned that I needed to feel the grief, not push it away.
What do you mean?
At first, I tried to be strong. I tried to stay busy so I wouldn't think about it. I avoided looking at photos of her.
You were running from the pain.
Yes, but the pain followed me everywhere. It was like a shadow.
So what changed?
My sister said something that stuck with me. She said, "Mary, grief is love with nowhere to go. You loved her, and now you need to let yourself feel that love and that loss."
Wow, that's beautiful and sad.
It is, and it gave me permission to cry when I needed to cry, to look at photos and remember good times, to talk about her.
So you stopped fighting the feelings and started allowing them.
Yes, and slowly the heavy fog started to lift. Not all at once, but gradually.
Gradually means slowly, little by little, right?
Yes, and I learned that resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about being gentle with yourself when things are hard.
I think a lot of people misunderstand resilience.
How so?
They think resilience means you bounce back immediately, like nothing affects you.
Right, like you're made of steel.
But real resilience is more like being like bamboo in the wind.
Oh, I like that metaphor.
Bamboo bends in the storm. It's flexible, but it doesn't break, and it straightens up again when the wind passes.
So, resilience is about flexibility, not rigidity.
Exactly. It's okay to bend. It's okay to struggle. You just keep standing.
And what helps people keep standing when everything feels overwhelming?
I think connection is huge. Talking to someone you trust.
Yes, isolation makes everything worse.
When I went through a difficult time, I lost my job a few years ago. I made the mistake of isolating myself.
What happened?
I felt embarrassed. I didn't want people to know I was struggling, so I stopped answering calls, stopped going out.
And how did that feel?
Terrible. My thoughts became darker and darker. I started believing I was a failure, that no one would want to hire me.
So the isolation fed the negative thoughts.
Exactly. Finally, my best friend showed up at my apartment unannounced.
Really?
Yes, he said, "I know you're going through something. I'm not leaving until we talk."
Good friend.
The best. And talking to him, just having someone listen without judgment, it was like releasing pressure from a valve.
Releasing pressure from a valve. That means letting out stress or tension that's been building up?
Yes, like when you've been holding something in and you finally let it out.
Did talking solve your job problem?
No, but it solved my isolation problem, and that gave me energy to actually work on finding a new job.
So connection gives us strength.
Yes, we're not meant to carry heavy burdens alone.
And if you're listening right now and you're going through a hard time, please reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, a counselor, a support group. Even one person who truly listens can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Now, Brian, what else helps build resilience? Maintaining small routines, even when everything feels chaotic.
Routines?
Yes. When my life fell apart after losing my job, I made myself stick to a few simple routines.
Like what?
Every morning, I woke up at the same time, made my bed, and took a shower.
Even though you had nowhere to be?
Especially because I had nowhere to be. Those small actions gave my day structure.
They created a sense of normalcy.
Exactly. And they reminded me that I still had control over some things, even when the big things felt out of control.
That's powerful. Structure can be really comforting during chaos.
Also, moving my body helped. I started walking every day.
Exercise releases endorphins, right?
Yes, endorphins are natural chemicals in your brain that make you feel better.
And walking is such a simple, accessible form of exercise.
You don't need a gym membership or special equipment. Just put on shoes and go.
I find walking really meditative too. It gives you space to think or not think.
Exactly. Sometimes I'd walk and let my mind wander. Other times I'd listen to music or a podcast.
So, the fourth big idea about resilience is hard times will come, and that's okay. You don't have to be strong every second. Be gentle with yourself, stay connected to others, maintain small routines, and trust the process of healing.
Yes, and remember, resilience is built over time. Every challenge you face and survive makes you a little bit stronger for the next one.
You're building emotional muscle.
I love that. Emotional muscle.
All right, we've covered a lot today. Let's do a quick recap before we move to our word bank section.
Great idea. So, big idea number 1, you have more control over your feelings than you think. You can't control every thought, but you can control which thoughts you feed.
Big idea number 2, worry and overthinking are normal, but you can manage them with techniques like the 3-minute rule, worry appointments, and taking action instead of just planning.
Big idea number 3, set goals that pull you forward, not push you down. Make them small, be consistent, and celebrate tiny wins.
And big idea number 4, build resilience by being gentle with yourself, staying connected to others, maintaining routines, and trusting the process of healing.
Perfect. Now let's go through our word bank, where we'll review all the useful phrases we used today.
Yes, this is where we slow down and make sure you really understand the idioms and expressions.
All right, first phrase, drowning in something.
When you say you're drowning in work, emails, or tasks, it means you have way too much and you feel overwhelmed.
Example, I'm drowning in paperwork this week. I can barely keep up.
Or, she was drowning in student debt and didn't know how to manage it.
Next phrase, let something consume you.
To consume means to eat or use up completely. When a feeling or thought consumes you, it takes over your whole mind and life.
Example, don't let one mistake consume you. Learn from it and move on.
Or, his anger consumed him until he couldn't focus on anything else.
Next, catastrophic thinking.
This is when you imagine the worst possible outcome for everything. You turn small problems into disasters in your mind.
Example, I tend to engage in catastrophic thinking. If I'm late for a meeting, I immediately think I'll get fired.
Or, catastrophic thinking makes anxiety worse because you're always preparing for disasters that probably won't happen.
Next, a game changer.
This means something that completely transforms a situation. It changes everything in a significant way.
Example, getting a mentor was a game changer for my career.
Or, learning to say no was a game changer for my mental health.
Next, racing thoughts or mind racing.
This is when your thoughts move very quickly from one thing to another, and you can't slow them down or control them.
Example, I couldn't sleep because my mind was racing with worries.
Or, when I drink too much coffee, I get racing thoughts.
Next phrase, beat yourself up.
This means to criticize yourself harshly or be very mean to yourself about a mistake or failure.
Example, stop beating yourself up about that test. You'll do better next time.
Or, I have a tendency to beat myself up over small mistakes.
Next, burn out.
To burn out means to lose all your energy and motivation, usually from working too hard or dealing with too much stress for too long.
Example, I burned out after working 60-hour weeks for 6 months.
Or, many teachers burn out within the first 5 years because the job is so demanding.
Next phrase, procrastinate.
To procrastinate means to delay doing something, usually because you don't want to do it or you're avoiding it.
Example, I know I should start my project, but I keep procrastinating by watching videos.
Or, procrastinating only makes the task feel bigger and scarier.
Next phrase, going through the motions.
This means doing something automatically or mechanically without really feeling engaged or present.
Example, after the breakup, I was just going through the motions at work. I wasn't really there mentally.
Or, don't just go through the motions in your relationships. Be present and engaged.
Next phrase, gradually.
This means slowly, little by little, over time, not all at once, but in small increments.
Example, my health improved gradually after I changed my diet.
Or, gradually, she began to trust people again after being hurt.
And our last phrase, release pressure from a valve.
This is a metaphor. A valve controls pressure in a machine. When you release it, the pressure goes down. We use this to describe letting out stress or emotions that have been building up.
Example, crying was like releasing pressure from a valve. I felt lighter afterwards.
Or, talking to a therapist helps me release pressure from the valve before I explode.
Those are all the key phrases from today's episode.
If you want, you can listen to this episode again and try to catch these phrases in context.
And maybe choose 2 or 3 that you really like and practice using them in your own sentences this week.
All right, everyone, we're coming to the end of today's episode.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
We hope some of these ideas resonated with you.
Resonated means they connected with you emotionally or felt true to your experience.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Just take one small idea from today and try it this week. Just one.
Maybe it's writing 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's calling a friend.
Small actions create real change over time.
Before we go, please let us know in the comments, what's one small positive action you're going to try this week?
We'd love to hear from you.
And if this episode helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from it too.
Take care of yourself out there.
Be patient with yourself.
And remember, progress over perfection.
This has been English Conversations with Brian and Mary.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Mary.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.